pulling through it, but it was just after that I felt like, yeah, cool, I've been doing acting. So with acting, because people used to say, yeah, I'm a bit funny, or I got a funny face kind of thing around me, like about like we'll do Shakespeare in school, in college, sorry, when we used to do it, and in school. You know what I mean? We'll do Shakespeare, and I'm that guy that will turn a serious situation into a joke. Like, I'll just look funny about it. Do you get what I mean? And I didn't realize it until people told me, oh, you just got this thing about you. And I thought, all right, cool. So that's why I decided to take on the other side. But then in the end, when I did end up kind of doing like the going college and then doing the stand up, I figured that it was similarities, innit? Do you get what I mean? In terms of acting and in terms of comedy, because with stand-up comedy, because them two are similar. Like, you know, like it's both more or less scripted, and it's both more or less about your persona, like how you look and how you talk, and you have to be in character. But then when it came to doing the you know, what's them call it? Because them times I started doing my little my own internet radio. You remember this one there, LIMZ Mania? My internet YouTube channel, which was the sketches, the comedy sketches. For those that don't know, you can check it out.
You were
check
early
me out,
that.
LIMZ Ali.
Remember, you were really early in doing those YouTube sketches. You know, long before loads of people were doing it, but you were doing those. You know, those
before they even
sketches,
started,
you know,
it, bro.
knocking.
Like it was at the time. I think it was me, Jazzy, and Ado, and Don't Jealous Me, who were literally were doing sketches, and Nabil Abdurrashid, who was big him up as well, because he was on thing like, you know, Britain's Got Talent, and he got the golden buzzer. Big up Nabil, man, that's amazing, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you know what I mean? The other week, last week, but at the same time, it's just like, at the time, we were the only ones kind of doing it, yeah? And when I did it, that it felt different, because at the time, I had someone like my producer, yeah? My director, he basically used to work for Channel U. And big up Sam Addo, you know what I mean? Like, big up everybody. Like, me and him started LIMZ Mania sketches, and he just said, you got something, and I need it, and it needs to be shown. Like, it needs to, and obviously these guys that look through the cameras, you don't realize how much goes into it. Even the same with acting and music and stuff, you know? But it's like, at the time, I felt the transition, like, you know, the transition from stage to camera. It was completely different, because you ain't got an audience. When I'm doing stage, I've got an audience that will laugh at all my jokes. When I don't have an audience that can laugh at all my jokes, I'm basically just going in and going ham and whatever. I'm thinking, you better laugh, but I don't know who's laughing, who's not. So I don't know if the joke's dropping or not. But then I felt like it was cool. But I felt it hard. I found it hard for me to go through that transition. You know what I mean? So it's important. It's important that what you said, like you said it. You get me? Because some people forget, innit? Like, because nowadays you've got Instagram, right?
Yeah.
You understand? And people are thinking, yeah, I'm an Instagram sensation because I got pure views, or I'm this one, and like this, I can put. I'll be able to just step into a TV, whatever camera, and, you know, and just do my thing, or a movie. Even doing movies.
Yo, greetings.
You've been on movies.
LIMZ,
how does it even feel for you being like...
LIMZ. Hello, can you hear me?
Going to do a movie, bro. You know what I mean? Like...
You see what I mean? You can hear me, you know. Greetings, bro. You can hear me, innit?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you, yeah.
Alright, like I said something. LIMZ, you got 2 messages there, yeah?
Okay, yeah, bro.
Yeah, you need to have a look at them. Yes, brethren, right? I'm blessed.
Yes, sir.
Nice to hear from you, bro. Nice to hear what you're doing.
Nice to hear from you,
Can you reply that one there again, please, bro? Because my internet kind of dropped there.
Yeah, alright, cool. Brethren, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Your name.
Yeah.
What do you call yourself?
So, my name is Kalungi.
Right.
A little bit like
Sisla Kalungi.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna ask you why you called yourself that.
Yeah. So that's actually my birth name.
Oh.
My birth name. So it's it's a Ugandan name. that relates to good and skill and so like it's a common name in Uganda, especially from the other tribes have it as well, but especially from the Buganda tribe.
Okay. See, so the reason why I'm asking you this, because what you're doing in your musical journey, is there a reason why you're doing it? Is there some particular motive behind why you're doing what you're doing? Sometimes a penny drops one day and somebody goes, aha. Is there a reason behind why you're doing what you're doing?
Yeah, my main reason is simply because I get such a great feeling, you know, during the whole music making process. Just like from like coming up with melodies, you know, making beats, harmonies or raps or anything. There's just such I almost feel like if I'm going through a funk on a particular day and I make a song, I feel way better than if I hadn't made that song. You know, there's something really refreshing and nourishing, you know, making music. It's helpful. Some people go for runs. I go for runs as well. And for me, you know, just making music immediately makes me feel better.
Seeing.
Yeah.
That's your calling then?
Yeah, you know, that along with, you know, acting and writing. But there's something about music because that's probably the only creative adventure that I have that I'm in complete control. I make the music, I write the bars, I do the recording, I you know, send it off for someone to mix it. But I'm from, you know, the genesis all the way to the end. I'm in charge of that, and there's something really, I don't know, satisfying about it.
I'm glad you mentioned Genesis, you know, because that comes up to my next question now. Yeah. Have you got a song relating to what the Creator has done for you or life in general, like something between you and the Creator or you and God? Have you got a tune that you've done relating to something like that?
No, I don't think. I mean, when I was younger, possibly I did, but right now, not at the moment. No.
Why?
Oh, that's a good
reason
one.
Being, because although I'm not an atheist, and although I do have like an appreciation of a larger power, you know, being responsible for all the greatness that we have, I don't really kind of, I guess, subscribe to any kind of religious
concept of
fraction.
Thing.
So
cool. Well, let's leave the religious part of it out. Even if it's not a religious thing, I'm still gonna get the answer from you. You know, even if it's this guy's trying it. He knows
No, it's true. I know. You're hitting him up. It's true though.
No, but what it is, as I added, even if it's a cultural thing or an ancestral thing, I think in our journey through life, we didn't get here by ourselves. So on the journey, I would normally give thanks to whatever helped me get to where I am.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to get from you. Have you got a track like that?
I haven't really. At the moment, I don't have a track like that, but I definitely do have a few.
Have you got lyrics?
Where I'm going to be exploring that a lot more. No, not really. Because right now, like I'm so early in my musical journey, and the early days and some of these tracks are really either relating to, you know, love in regards to the opposite sex, or, you know, me trying to at least let people know how skilled as I guess braggadocious rap. So but my next projects, I do plan on, you know, digging a lot deeper in I guess maybe more stronger topics, you know, so I have, you know, lyrics and songs that touch on those kind of issues.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's all I wanted to hear from you. If you had something, even if it was a chorus or something that passed your mind and you just put it down till the time is right.
So even freestyle.
No,
I don't want you to go too far.
That's not easy to freestyle.
What I mean? Because obviously you might not be ready for it, but do you feel like you can? That's another thing though, Bless, that what you touched on is nice, because you know what, like Fresh, Kalungi,
Yes,
do you feel like, what makes you think, oh no, I can't touch on it? Because as a comedian, at times I feel like, oh, I can't do too. But to me, it depends on the audience. Do you know what I mean? That I'm performing to. I can't speak about specific things. What makes you musicians feel like, right, I can't do an album about that?
I just want to do it
2 years. Why are you holding back 2 years when, if you, how do you know the impact that it will have now? Like, that's why I feel like Tupac was who he was, because he's still impacting the world up to now after he's dead how many years. So what makes you feel like, nah, but I'm not ready?
I just want to do it justice. Because some topics, you know, I think every topic is important, but there's some topics that you can't really be a bit lightweight with it. And sometimes, you know, just like I said with this album, it took me, you know, reaching the age of 30 to feel like I can confidently make an album that's talking about, you know, taking, I guess, you know, putting my affairs in order in regards to, you know, family or finding someone, and or even loving myself. So that took a little while to get there, and I feel like it would take an even longer while. It might take a longer while to get to certain topics, you know. So I do have lyrics that, you know, I toy around with issues around maybe spirituality, not as much, but I feel like there will come a time, you know, maybe in 10 years time or 20 years time, where, okay, it's ready now. Now I can touch on that subject, because I don't really feel like it's right to rush and just write for the sake of writing it.
But then, like, you see, do you feel like I said, example, Tupac talk about everything he wanted to talk about? You get what I'm saying? So do you, like, what make, I don't know, like, why are you scared? Because at the end of the day, you're going to talk about it after in the end anyway. So why not talk about it now when it's current? And it's in your mind, it's current in your mind.
It's more to do with, like, making sure that I give it the right kind of, like, treatment. Because, like I said before, certain topics, like, you can be, I guess, you can generalize, you know, because everyone's felt that I had this experience of love. So you can talk about that experience. But sometimes if you haven't had a big spiritual experience, you don't want to kind of write about it in a very generalized way. So,
the wrong concept,
you know, and sometimes as well, like, that topic can be really overwhelming sometimes, and you want to give it the right kind of treatment.
Yes, I agree with you. You know what?
Yeah.
I think you're right, you know.
Thank you.
Because you're just on your journey, you just go with the flow of the river. Don't upset the flow. But I was asking you the question, 100%. But what your answers made me realize, like, I actually agree with what you're saying.
Thank you.
I think you're doing the right thing, because you obviously there's two sides of it. I was just looking at one side of it, but the other side of it is that you've got your audience who accept you for what you are. They don't deal with religion or this or that. They're just dealing with what you're giving them. So if you put a religion thing, that's your personal thing, or your faith or whatever ancestral thing, it's your personal thing. But I always believe that when we're doing things out here, we should always give thanks to whatever or whoever that's 100%. Helped us on the journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We can't wait till we get there and then thank you when I get there. It's not about that. Your child can't say, oh, well, now I've got a job and I got my office and I got my car. Thank you, Daddy. No, they say they wait till then before they say thank you. Or they wait till then before, oh, I love you, Daddy, because I got everything. But when you was on the little journey and you had no shoes to go to school or this or that or hole in your shoes, I'm just going by personal experience as well.
Yeah.
You understand? I know to go through these things. You have to give thanks for the little things too. No, you know, cause
100%. 100%, yeah.
Some people might not get there, you know. They might dream of getting there, but that might not be their calling. Something else might happen and make them divert another way.
Yeah.
That's it.
So,
and you never know when that happens, isn't it?
Certain musicians that do touch on that.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you can listen, you can tell how authentic they're being. And that's because, you know, that's their truth. That's their authenticity. And I don't want to kind of force that at the moment. But I definitely do agree with, you know, giving thanks to, you know, a larger, greater being or whoever is responsible for your creation. And I think that's right. And I never really thought about it in that way, but that's definitely given me food for thought.
Okay, bro. Well, that's it. I give thanks. We all give thanks because nothing's free. Well, we get everything for free. But is it really for free? Is our talent for free? Is that gift that we got, is it really for free or is it for a purpose?
Yeah.
It's a gift.
That's a question that we'll forever ask, though.
Yeah, but it's a gift, though. It's a gift, a talent. It's a gem. It's a precious jewel that's been given to this guy. Is it there a reason behind it? Because it's just a special gift, the talent to write what you're writing and spit the way you're spitting. It's a gift, man.
But you know what? Yeah, what I can say is, why is it that we're always led to believe that? Yeah, but there's something always behind it. There's always a reason. Do you know what I mean? I'll ask that to both of you, if we both able to answer it. But do you know what I mean? Why do we think like that? And why are we led to think like that?
Make I break it down short, quick and thing. When you're on the journey, you don't really notice it. But when you're coming towards the second half of your journey, you can look back and see it. That you said, all these things what I've been doing led to this. When I thought at that time when I was in my prime, I thought that was it. But that was never it. 10 years, 15 years, 20 years later down the line, you can look back at that and say, that wasn't it. Now where I am here, I'm saying, well, boy, this is where I give thanks. But if I was giving thanks from the beginning, I would have been on the same journey all the way and wouldn't have got led astray. That's my thing, just on the journey. So I'm just saying, later on in life, you look back and then you can give thanks. Because we're lucky to be here. Some of us, it's just a blessing that we're still here today. So something's responsible for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Sometimes we go through fear. You ever been to somewhere and you got lost? And you say, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Help me. And then somewhere along the line, you just get out of it.
Find the light at the tunnel, as they say, innit?
Yeah, but you're calling out for help to something, and something's answering you, because we always get out of these situations. It could be anything. It could be a family situation. It could be anybody. But sometimes we cry out for help. But who are we crying out to?
What about you, Kalungi? What would you think, like, obviously fresh, what would you think about, like, the question that I just asked? How would you kind of, like, answer it? Like, what's your thoughts on that? Because we're led to believe, innit?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very dense question, and like, in order for me to answer that, you're gonna have to, like, repeat it. Just ask me the question again, just for me to really understand what you're asking.
Like, what do you feel like? Because they tell us, that it's all like nothing comes free. In other words, kind of thing. Like, there's always a reason behind it, innit? But why are we led to believe that when they don't need, like, in my eyes, like, a lot of people will be doing it out of their heart, innit? But then we're led to believe that no one does anything for free. So, you know, as performers as well, perform for free.
The way I interpreted, at least Blessed's response, is that he's talking more about, like, a greater creator, greater being responsible, as opposed to it being more kind of like being almost it's not someone doing a favor for you. It's almost a greater being responsible for you, getting you out of a crazy situation or blessing you with a particular talent. And I think, based off of that interpretation, I think the reason, my answer to that is that, of course, there's a greater being or greater creator giving you these gifts. And sometimes, I think I've been guilty of this, acknowledging that. Sometimes that's the difficult part, because there is kind of this arrogance that mankind, or, you know, humankind has, where we believe that we created all this, you know, we're responsible for this, when actually there were others that came before you. You know, there's someone out there who's managed to make this possible, whether it's a spiritual being or whether it's religion and you're thinking about God. But there's always someone out there who's gone, yes, this is an opportunity for you, and now it's up to you, at least the way I see it, it's up to you to take that and run with it, you know. And maybe the reason why
I got you, but you gotta remember that what I was saying, innit? Like, human. I believe, like, for some reason, we're led to believe that because we got, like, the culture that we grew up in, kind of thing, similar. You get what I'm saying? We're all like similar ages, and I believe that in this culture that we grew up in, we're led to believe that but no one gonna do anything to you for you for free, innit? There's always something behind it. But then whereas like I'm a spiritual, I'm a cultural guy, innit? So I believe like it's God given the opportunity. You understand? Because I believe in God. I believe in Allah. I'm a Muslim, like you get me. Alhamdulillah, and thank for all the people fasting, breaking their fast right now, like inshallah enjoy your food. But at the same time, I believe that. So I get where you're coming from, and I get where Bless is coming from. But I just feel like culture wise, we've been raised in this 21st century to believe that nothing comes for free. Even your parents tell you this though. Am I wrong in saying that though? You grown up, like your parents tell you. You see what I mean? It's a deep question,
Right.
But at the same time, like it's obviously everyone's got.
Put it this way. Put it another way, LIMZ. Then, Even what I just said, if you're looking outside of yourself, then you're looking at something different. But if you're looking at within yourself, and these questions you're asking is something within you that's helping you. But some people keep on looking outside of themselves. When it's within you, that's helping you. Your ancestors are in you. Everybody, your ancestors, everybody's there.
Yeah, they're listening and hearing it. And
they're there. Alright, then put it this way, my brethren. If you look at your hands, or your eyes, or your nose, it comes from your mother or your father. One of them do. You know what I mean? Like you might have your father's eyes, or your father's nose, or your mother's nose, but she got that from her mother and her father, and so forth, right back down to generations. That's a trademark. Some African people have a certain nose through family history. That's their ancestors. That's them.
LIMZ, isn't it?
Right. So all I'm saying is that when you're looking within yourself, it's a different concept of who we actually giving thanks to, and who you know what I mean.
And that's why I wanted to say this as well. Like when you asked me the question about have I got any bars that talk about giving thanks to the creator, whatever, and whoever has kind of blessed me with this talent, and immediately I don't know why I didn't say this, but I was embarrassed to say that I feel like this is something that's from within. It's almost like it's I have a Christian friend who recently was asking me, saying, "Oh, I hope that one day you find God." And I go, okay, that's really interesting, and I appreciate that. But my response to her was like, okay, well, I've found a love for myself, and if God is from within, then am I wrong in saying that I found God? If I found that love for myself, if it's from within, would I be wrong in saying that?
No, you wouldn't be wrong in saying that. No, you won't be wrong because God is love.
There we
exactly.
Go. And I found that love.
Right.
I found that love for myself as well.
Which is God.
Yeah.
Which is what they say is God.
There we go.
You know what I mean? But that's within.
But even that, you just said this. You just said blessed, which is what they say is God. Which is what they say is the magic word there. Which is what they say.
Because God is a European term for what it really is.
Listen.
Because other cultures have more than one God.
Yeah.
Other cultures have more than one God, and
Yeah, so you can say God, you can say the Creator, you can say the Supreme Being, you can say so much things you can say.
You say Superman, yo. Nah. You get me? Some people out here believe in the elephant, but it's their religion, it's their belief, man.
Yeah, that's what they do, you know what I mean? But that's how it is. That's what the world is.
But listen, God is a touchy subject. Bless, is it alright if we hear like another verse from Kalungi?
Go on through, man. Yeah, what's this one gonna be, brother?
What's the track name though as well?
It's a freestyle. You can it's freestyle in the modern term, not the old school term. Okay. But it's something that you can find the video. I recorded it in Uganda. You can find it on my Instagram, king_Kalungi, KALUNGI, and it goes a little bit like this. This is that UG track. Me, I don't grip no strap. Kubanza kabaka wa rap. I'm into this acting and rap. Ugandan and maps, they're traveling back, still making these tracks, they'll get them attacked fresh. Show me who else is the best, so I can just lay them to rest. Banange, Bagambi, Bansanye, Bayambi, so they cannot up the bass. She got a lovely face. She also drinks water, so she got impeccable taste, delectable waist. I took her to then we had she put me to fresh.
Fresh.
Hey, fresh. Hey, fresh.
You know what I'm saying?
No, fresh.
Sorry,
fresh.
I had to be.
Hey, what are the fresh? LIMZ is gonna ask you what does mean. Go on, LIMZ. I know you wanna ask him. LIMZ, ask him.
Don't ask me. This is a family-friendly show.
Okay. It's nighttime still, though. You know that it's nighttime still. We can get away.
No, you can talk. But don't swear. Don't say nothing. You know,
up their own interpretation of that. Fill in the blanks.
Okay.
Leave that for night time. Everybody go night.
Exactly.
You know, I don't want to say the last bit of that.
Post-quarantine.
No, they have to buy the album to find out. Yeah.
I wanted to ask him something as well. You know, Kalungi. You know, in terms of like you, obviously, you tour a lot. Like you actually tour a lot, because knowing you for all these years, like you go on a lot of theatre tours.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. How does it feel like? Do you feel like this is kind of a blessing in disguise with you not going, or do you miss it? Do you know what I mean? Like going on tours to like theatre, because you do a lot of theatre like tours, like I just said. Like, you know, how do you feel about how is it even impacting that kind of mentality wise? How are you coping?
It's it's gonna impact it, I think, for many years to come. I was just watching on the news right now that there's a theatre in Southampton called the Nuffield Southampton Theatre, and that one's gone into administration because, you know, obviously they can't afford to go dark and stay without any shows. And other, you know, regional theatres and Western theatres, or even off-Western theatres, they're not going to be able to survive this because the social distancing rules dictate that, you know, people have to stay 2 meters apart. And most theatres can't do that. They need to fill up the seats, you know. So loads of theatres are going to go down the drain. Actors as well. I don't know how we can manage, you know, because dressing rooms are always very cramped, you know, rehearsing. So this COVID-19 is
just
like,
the makeup alone all over your face all the time, innit?
Yeah, it's impacted it majorly. There's nothing, like I sometimes sit here and I wonder how we're going to be able to go on to do theatre, because unless you're telling me that, you know, you're going to have to, I don't even know how they can do this, but it's impacted it majorly.
See, that one, they blew you, innit? But it's the truth, because I've been thinking about it myself, because you know with comedy shows, it's similar, like comedy venues, stand-up comedy shows, it's similar to theatre shows, isn't it? Like, I've done 1-2 theatre shows, but at the same time, I ain't done much. But you guys go on tours, and you see going on tour, like because you have to set your mind in, like when we spoke to Jermaine last week, he mentioned about acting and how he's kind of trying to like work the whole situation through right now, like in terms of him not being able to just go out to like filming sets because of makeup. No one's able to get out. Now with you, like you see, I feel similarities, because I'll be honest with you, all the comedy shows have been shut down. I've had bookings, bruv. Like, you know, I was supposed to do All Hackney Empire, O2, this one, that one. Brother, they've all been locked off. So it's like, and it feels like, whoa. Like, and then I've even LIMZ Comedy Bonanza, yeah? For those that don't know, it's my comedy show that I run. That it's my comedy show at the Picture House and everything. Like, it's a stand-up comedy show with a lot of different comedians and performers coming through. I ain't been able to do that because I thought, if I do run it, how can I have one person sitting here, the other person 4 meters away, or they say 2 meters or whatever, 10 meters, I don't even know no more yet, because it changes every time compared, like, you know, when it comes to Boris Johnson. But, you know, from here, no bad respect to the government, but you know what I mean? But yeah, this person here, 4 seats, basically everyone has to be 3 seats apart, so you can't even sell out the theatre. But then with you as a performer, how does that kind of like impact you and your mental health? And cause you with like out of all the people that I've got like around me, and there are a lot of people that I know that are in the industry, you do theatre a lot more than a lot more, and you do tours. You don't just do like one theatre show. Like, explain even your last theatre show just to promote it. Do you know what I mean? Like that you did, and how do you feel it's kind of impacting all that?
Well, okay, so the last play that I did was a play called The Duchess of Malfi, and it was directed by a really, really big director by the name of Rebecca Fresno, and it was performed at the Almeida Theatre in Highbury, Islington, and that was a crazy experience because, you know, it was actually top of the year, so the last show was January 27th, so I think, if I'm right, the corona situation was going on in China around that time. So that was the final time, you know, I think I'd been on stage in front of a big audience, and it was about maybe 500 or so people. And if you think about it, I actually fell sick. I was ill during that show. And I'm thinking back, I'm going, wow, could it have been corona or anything? But I don't know if I can't really say or not. But the reason I'm saying that is that if we was to do that again, and, you know, anyone was to catch wind of me even sneezing or coughing, I think, boom, like, you gotta shut the show down, either shut the show down or send me home. You know, so that's how different and how different theatre's going to be. And I remember sometimes we were doing shows and, you know, you'd hear people coughing. I would be coughing on stage, but it would be an annoyance. You know, it will be something that is frustrating. It's like, oh, there's someone coughing 2 seats down. But now that's going to change majorly, because the minute you hear someone coughing or sneezing, you go, right, like, take this person out right now. We got to shut this show down this minute, because you never know if that person's sick with the virus. So that was, aside from that, that was a really good experience. You know, it was a show set in 17th century Italy, you know, written by one of Shakespeare's contemporaries, much younger writer. But yeah, it was a really, really good experience with that one. And I was so happy and glad that I got to do that before the corona situation happened, because it taught me the importance of saving up for a rainy day, because, you know, I've been living off that money since, you know, corona started. And if I hadn't saved up, I would have been in a really not so good situation. So, you know, touching on the mental side of like shows being cancelled, it's a bit of a mad one, because at first it was like, oh, this is a normal day for actors, because most of the times we just stay home waiting for the phone to ring. Then by week 4, you're like, oh, damn, okay, all right, okay. But week 6, week 7, you're like, okay, I've had enough of this. I want to go back on the road, go back on, you know, on set or anything. But
I want to just chill out,
that goes back to like the point I was making before, where I'm like, I'm glad that I do other things. I don't know if I made this point, but I'm glad I do other things. So I write as well, and I make music. And, you know, this inability to be able to do any acting means that, okay, acting is on one side, but I can still make music. I can still write, you know?
And through this lockdown, you can actually sit back and write, innit?
Exactly. But that in itself is also a challenge, because if I'm writing a play, usually I'm writing a play with the hope that it's going to be staged. But right now, I'm almost as if I'm writing for, you know, I don't know, invisible friends or whatever, like, because I don't know when the show is going to be on. But
at least with music, autobiography right now.
I
That's
know
what
I can,
like, writing,
you know,
bro.
release an album or a mixtape or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. So you see, in terms of, because you write a lot as well, yeah, have you ever considered kind of like writing an autobiography?
You know what? Like, I have considered that, but I think I'm a bit too young to be writing an autobiography at the moment. I've still got a few more years.
How could you say you're too young, bro? You don't know when your life's...
Yeah, come on, bruv. I'm 30 years old, bruv. I can't be writing them. Like, I've got so much more to, you know, my life.
Bro, I know people that are 35 and they've written their book. I'm talking a book.
That's true.
We're gonna have this young lady on the show in a few weeks, 2-3 months, or whatever. I have her in the studio. But yeah, are you like? Come on, you're never too young.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess you can
write 5 autobiographies. Didn't you know that? You can write as many as you want.
But I guess I want to make sure that it's juicy enough. And right now, maybe the juicy stuff are coming in 10, 20 years time.
I get what you're saying. Bless, would you ever write an autobiography about your life?
No, it would frighten people. That summed me up, Bridget.
I mean, yeah.
They wouldn't read it.
I think I have a pretty interesting life, but you're right.
Surely people want to know how to run a radio station, how you started it, how you're gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that story, I can tell that story. It's a journey. It's because of you guys still, you know. I'll tell you why I started it. Because there was a beef, the beef between north, south, east and west. And they had a little beef and thing. And I decided to say, well, I'm going to put on a radio station to squash the beef. So we done Bless. Now, how we squash the beef, we got some nice girls, some really nice girls. I mean, like, these girls, like, proper girls, Them girls that stop traffic and thing, you know what I mean? But they're young. So we got one from the north, one from the south, one from the east, one from the west, and we put them all on the radio station.
Oh, you patterned it.
Yeah. And the man them from the ends already know what these girls look like. So now for them to call in, they got to behave themselves.
Yeah.
And then they're going to want to come on and be DJs. And it starts from there. But first, that's how you did it.
Wow.
And then before you know it, boom.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everything has a bait, man. Everything. Even what's going on in this world with us now. There's a simple solution for it. Simple solution. You know what I mean?
No, big up though, because you started it and it's still running. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, which is what people need to realize. And like you're you know what I mean? Like how people look at Wiley and say, yeah, man, Wiley, Godfather and everything. Big up Wiley, rate him highly.
Yeah.
You get me? I got bars as well. You get me? But at the same time,
you made that right.
No, with you as well. Come on, bro. You gotta look at it like it's you know, like Godfather, like you're amongst the top Donnies of the top for Donnies. Sorry for those listening from Africa and America and all sorts, but you know, like Godfather to this thing because you kept it running and you kept it moving, and it's like how I was speaking to Bless right now. I mean, sorry, how I was speaking to Fresh right now. You lot got S's in it, so I might get it mixed at times. But obviously, how I was speaking to Fresh as well, like you know, you started it from young, and it wasn't a joke. And it's not like, you know, some people will do a business or start something that makes, like, you know, they're just doing it for no reason, or they're just doing it for money, or doing it for you lot done it for yourself and to give back. That's another even question I like to kind of give to Kalungi. Yeah, you see, like in terms of now, like, would you consider, are you one of those artists, would you consider yourself as being an artist that gives back to the community, or just uses your fame as, yeah, man, I'm famous, I'm trying to make, because you are famous, like you've been seen on TV and everything, you get stopped outside, you understand? Like people recognize
I wouldn't say I get stopped outside.
Not sex. Pardon?
I haven't really reached that level yet.
Oh, allow it, man. I've been with you. You know. We were, listen, for those that don't know, the listeners, we were in Paris, and this guy here, you know, you come on, it's long, like it gets recognized and all that. And this is Paris, mate. But that at the same time, you know, would you consider yourself as, like, what would you want to do? Are you one of those that you want to give back, and how you see your future, like in terms of, like, you know, outside the acting game, and outside what you do with the music game as well and everything, do you want to, like, you know, give back, start charity, like do charity work? Do you do that? Do you like use it to your, like, not advantage, but do you use it to, you know, like, do you give back? Do you help the, you know, the needy people that need it? And the young people, let alone just the old people that might be confused in life and they don't know what to do, they don't know what the next steps are. What would you do if you even had the opportunity to do that?
Well, that's a good question, man. So I don't know if anyone's been watching the Last Dance documentary on Netflix. That's talking up, is charting, Michael Jordan's basketball career. And I hope I'm not misquoting it. Maybe it's from another documentary, but I remember him saying that if he was to do this again, he wouldn't want to be a role model because of the pressures, of having to be squeaky clean. And
what do you mean by
when you asked
me
that question, I was like, would I really want to have that pressure of having to, be put on this pedestal of having to give back to this community and represent this community? Because that can be such a pressurized place to be in, and it can actually disappoint a lot of people. In the past, I have, worked for mentoring. I've mentored a young person with the help of Bang Radio, which was in North London in Housden. But
I know that. I know that radio station.
Bang Radio, yeah.
So I've done work with them before. But I think there's such a big challenge, at least for me, to put myself in that position and say I'm going to give back to the community in that kind of way, because I feel like there's more than one way to give back to the community. And for me, my plan to give back to the community is through creating this art and inspiring, people, without me kind of putting myself up as if I'm like some sort of role model. Because what happens sometimes, and Michael Jordan was a perfect example of that, is that people end up being disappointed in certain decisions that you make. So, they'll see you, they'll go, oh, you're doing this, you're meant to be giving back to the community, you're meant to be a role model, when actually what you should be doing is looking at the fact that I've been able to create this work and let that inspire you to go on and do what you want to do that's positive, as opposed to looking to me to kind of like, either directly impact your life or, be kind of directly attached to you. But I do plan to, do things that contribute positively to a community, whether it's a community in my area or whether it's going to Uganda and putting on shows and working with, my cousins and working with, some sort of authority. But yeah, it's a bit of a tricky situation, especially in regards to like charities sometimes, because you can give to a big organization like a charity, and some of that money that you give ends up going to, the people higher up, and the ones you want to help don't end up getting that help.
Carry on, bro.
Sometimes do you know what I mean? And sometimes it could be a lot more helpful if I say I go to Uganda and, I use local talent to, I use my cousin, for example, to help me record my music video from Katikende that you can watch on my Instagram, so I use my cousins and I pay them, doing that, or I use a model or an actress from Uganda and I pay her, so that, actively and directly impacts her, as opposed to saying, okay, I'm going to go and give to this charity, and then eventually, hopefully, that'll trickle down to some people, some disadvantaged people. So yeah, so I just try to help try to awaken people's creativity and artistry and make use of their creative talent. And are you a photographer? Boom, come take these pictures. I'm going to use that picture for my album cover. Here's some money. Boom, So just try to encourage people to. And again, Jermaine talked about this, just encourage people to go in the direction of self-actualization, as opposed to kind of hand out and say, I'm waiting for this charity to help me. That in itself can be helpful, but self-actualization and you being in charge of your own fishing can be a lot more helpful than you sitting on the edge of the sea, at the edge of the river, waiting for the fishermen or fisherwomen to come back with some fish,
That's like getting that leads to the point of like knowing yourself and being strong within yourself. Like we touched on the subject with Jermaine as well, innit? So it's like, do you feel like that's important in terms of like in the industry and how you feel like what can guide the youths, because right now the youths we've got corona, so they're all indoors and they're not doing as much craziness as they were doing. So you feel like that's a self-guidance. It's like self-guidance within yourself, knowing where you come from. Like, and you touched on the subject earlier about you going back home in order for you to find yourself. Do you feel like this is important? Because, you know what I mean? If you can answer my question.
Yeah, man, that's very important. I think, and I touched on it briefly, like when you asked me about, you know, growing up as a young black man in London, in South London. And I think it's because I had that early on self-awareness that came from growing up in Uganda, and knowing that I had this ability and this capability that stopped me from going into a direction that, you know, I would have regretted or that would be detrimental to me. And again, it's all to do with, you know, having a good support, but also knowing yourself from within and going, this is what I'm capable of. And if I do this, that's actually going in the opposite direction of what my true optimum capability is. And I think that's very important. And I think a lot of young people, if any of them are listening and want any sort of advice, is that having that self-awareness and being self-assured. And I didn't get this self-assurance until later on, actually. The self-awareness, maybe I did, but the assuredness didn't come until later on. And having those two things, along with another, you know, support network and, you know, and opportunities, of course, that stops you from going in a mad direction. And it's great that, you know, some people have that. Some people are lacking one, or they're lacking two, or they're lacking all of it. But just to know that eventually it comes in different times. You know, you might have that self-awareness at age 14, but then that support network isn't there. And then you just need to work on that until the support network comes. And it's just me. I can only talk about my experience. And that's how I managed to stay out of
100%.
trouble. You know, having a purpose. Having a purpose is so important. And it helped me a lot, because I always knew, okay, one day I'll be on TV. One day I'll make my own album. One day I'll go to university. And if you have that purpose and you're working towards something, anyone that comes your way and says, hey, come and do this, you go, nah, no, I'm going here. I'm off to university. I'm doing this. So sometimes, you know.
I don't know if it's me, but I think we might have just slightly lost Isaac there.
No, I'm still here, bruv. I'm still here.
KALUNGI, you still here?
He's still there.
Sorry, do you know what it is?
Yeah,
I call him that name because I know him from that name. Do you know what I mean, KALUNGI?
Yes, Stebo. I'm still here.
I'm just 100. No, we heard you come. Listen, do you want to do me a big favor, bro?
Yeah.
Do you want to read out the album, all the names from the album? Yes, the name of the songs from the album, and then like, can you give us one more if it's all right, bro? Like, whatever you choose, you have to give us another one before you go. You have to give us another one, bro.
Of course, bro. Of course. So this one is called Abalala. And Abalala,
what does that mean?
For anyone that doesn't understand, that means others. Let me see.
Yeah, because they're gonna definitely have to hear something. You know what I mean? Like you've been a very wonderful guest, man, and we had a really lively show. We had every week. You know what? I thank all the special guests and everything that have been coming through, and you guys are amazing. And I still even think to myself, like, you know what? It's only through God that I've been in touch. I've been in contact with you guys, and you guys have been in my life, and I thank, you know what I mean? I thank the Most High, and Alhamdulillah. But yeah, man, definitely go forward with it when you're ready, bro.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna give you another one instead. I'm gonna give you another one instead. So
just whatever you choose, bro. Whatever you choose.
Kalungi, you ready?
Definitely, I'm good.
This one is actually much better because this wraps it up perfectly. This is the final one. So this wraps it up perfectly because it talks about my journey a little bit, a tiny bit. So this is another freestyle that you can find on my Instagram if you search King_Kalungi. Kalungi spelled K-A, L for Lima, U for umbrella, N for nectar, G-I. I grew up in Uganda. Neighbors, can you never wonder? See the noise in Kampala City, trust me, bruv, was louder than thunder. No wonder we're loving Wakanda, the people damn and the blacker than Panther. When I came from Kampala to Clapham, the accent sound was fresher than water, and yaba audio tia. Zeno season and then rapping, of course I am packing, so going to forget what they told you, Tonga Manti Toja. I was raised by a soldier, like a literal soldier. So beef is a faux pas. There were canes on the table. There weren't no ladles. This ain't no fable. Ping was the way go. Skin like Muwogo. Cause of Chiboko squad. We played Ugandan code. Tilapia from Doletia. We are lit, so let her beer. See that Ria, bring that here and take this wood back to IKEA. Bambi, I'm not your dear, so don't you dare interfere to this Mukwano over here. This is where I switch the gear. I'm jumping the air to get out of here. End up in Kampala.
Is that it? It's gone.
What is gone? I can hear you. I can hear you. Wait, is it still on?
He's chatting.
Nah, sorry guys, we just had a little bit of a technical difficulties, man, but it's still good, man. Like, you know, Kalungi Fresh will still be back online. Anyway, you know. Just trying to make 1-2 readjustments, but yeah, man, I hope you guys have been liking the radio show. I mean, like, you've been enjoying it. I received 1-2 messages. Unfortunately, I've been going on and off 1-2 times myself, but you know what? We managed to make it work due to blessed, you know what I mean? Continue blessings all the time. Like,
yeah, we can hear you. Hold on.
Yeah.
Where's he
going? You know what this quarantine's doing to us, people? You can see it. The frustration's mad. But you know what? We have to keep it moving. We have to keep it rolling constantly, all the time. We cannot give up. As the Caribbean say, we can't not give up. You know what I'm saying? And then that's a bit American side coming out of me. But for real. But definitely though, man. Special guest Kalungi, you know, as you guys have been listening. He's still online. Don't worry, we'll get him back. Still there. Kalungi Fresh. His album's out right now. You don't need to go check that. Cop that. And yeah, he definitely even took his time out to even get hold of us. You know, he's been acting, doing music. I keep saying comedy. I think it's because I do comedy. Definitely actor. Done a lot of things. Young, amazing young man. He's just all over the place and does a lot of theatre as well. Like, proper inspirational. And for all the young ones listening as well right about now, like, you know, be inspired by what you're hearing because you can make your dreams come true. I mean, Bless explained already himself. He made his dreams come true by him having his radio station, you know what I mean? Like, giving young people the opportunity, like me, giving me the opportunity to even help other young people promote their stuff, which is like, it's a blessing and it's amazing. And like, a lot of people need to kind of realize that in this day and age, you can always be like, you know, told that you can't do this, you can't do that, can't reach out, you can't. But there's no can't in life. In life, you can. You need to take out that T and the apostrophe, whatever they call it. Take it all out, you know, and then just make it a can. Because in life, like, it's not about you sitting there and regretting. Like, especially, like, I'm sure a lot of young people or older people, everyone's realizing this day and age we're going through this corona, and like, obviously we have to do as they say, but you know, you've seen a lot of lives go. Rest in peace, brother Dougie. He left a few weeks ago. He left us. He still stays in our prayers, you know what I mean? And it shows you that life is short, and we've all lost a lot of people in life right now, or even prior to this, but we have to get strong. So this is our opportunity for you to, after this finishes, when it's done, and you go uni, you go college, you go work, do that job that you wanted to do. Like, follow your dreams and make it happen. Because if you don't try, you don't get. If you don't ask, you don't get. That's what I grew up to. So it's like nowadays, it's like you have to be strong in within yourself to go over that hurdle. And that's what a lot of people need to understand. And a lot of young people, a lot of older people, we all need to understand that, because I ain't no preacher, you know. I'm just a comedian, actor, award-winning about it, you know. Don't get twisted. But at the same time, I'm just trying to show the people that anything's possible. Same way as Blesses, same way as Kalungi Freshes. When we get him back online, he's gonna say the same thing.
Is he there?
So even
I'm still here.
Yeah, he's still there. It's quiet in the background.
I'm still here.
There you go, bro. You know what I'm saying? I hope you lot heard the message I try to spread across, you know.
Yeah, man, you're preaching, man.
Because at the end of the day,
he's gone.
Yes.
He's gone. Wow. Yeah. He's gone. The computer just went off. It's alright. We'll be back in a minute. Right. You still there, though?
Yes, I am.
Right, I got to sort you out now. Alright. You know, so we didn't get all the lyrics that you was chatting, though.
You didn't get them?
We did get some of it, but not all of it.
Okay. Do you want me to go again?
Oh, then I got to fix up your phone. Right. So that one that you did chat, why did you write it?
Oh, so that one I wrote it last year for the Uganda's independence. So I wrote a track specifically for Uganda's independence, just to celebrate being Ugandan.
See.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you can go through again then, bro.
Alright. I grew up in Uganda. Neighbors Kenyan and Rwanda. To the noise in Kampala city, trust me, brother, it's louder than thunder. No wonder we're loving Wakanda, the people, them, and the blacker than panther. When I came from Kampala, picked up on the accent farm was fresher than water, never old yotia. Deno Sizanya never up in, of course I am packing, so Brenda forget that the told it told ya. I was raised by a soldier, like a literal soldier. So beef is a full part, there were canes on the table, there weren't no ladles, this ain't no fable, bring us the way, go skin like me walk, cause of Chiboko squad. We paid Ugandan code. Tilapia from Dolatia. We are lit, so let her beer. See that Ria, bring that chair and take this wood back to IKEA. Bambi, I'm not your dear, so don't you dare interfere into this Mukwano over here. This is where I switch the gear, jumping out of here, end up in London town. I'm for bowing down or being an African clown. While this African crown sits on my head, Uganda till I'm dead. You grew up on beans and bread, I grew up on my talkie instead. Dripping in black, yellow and red. Looking for you, Jimmy Waller to wed. Am I repping Uganda? You bet. Always bet on black. You ban to stack the racks. You try attack the facts. I'm stating facts. Did you drag the back? So please just cut the chat. I don't need no tats to prove I'm repping that. UGA, NDA. My definition of TIA and DRC to say Bumaye. Kalungi fresh, Bumaye. Alimu Kuzimba and Nyumbaye. Wait, roll of the carpet. I'm on my way. Kambabuli day, Jemba day. One of your haters, man, bad you did. So I'd rather Uganda. I'm in love with Uganda. Oh, yeah, man, it's all in Uganda. So come to Uganda. Oh, yeah, fresh.
Yep, that's you. That's the whole tune, isn't it?
Me. That's it, yeah. So that one's the freestyle. I recorded that video in Uganda, so people can listen to it If you go on my Instagram, king_kalungi, KAL for Lima, UN for Nectar, GI.
Okay. All right. So,
yes,
wait for LIMZ to come back. I think he's kind of dropped off. It happens more or less. His phone just jumps off at the end. It always around this time. I think the same thing happened last week. His phone jumped off
maybe
again.
Maybe the battery's dead.
Well, maybe we'll find out in a minute and think. So, what's your vision for when you get successful? What's the first thing you're gonna do when you kind of?
Wow, first.
Yeah, what's the first thing you're gonna do?
By success, do you mean like money success or being kind of like more popular?
No, when you will know when you get there, but sometimes everybody gets to a part where they say, right, now I can do whatever I want. What am I going to do?
Well, I mean, for me, immediately, I want to be able to, buy a few houses, and have my own businesses, have a production company, a record label, and be able to, like, create more projects independently, and not have to wait for other people to, do stuff for me.
Yeah, be independent.
Yeah, like just so, like I said before, like with music, I never need to wait for anyone to send me a beat. I can just do it by myself. And I want to do the same thing with, like, making films. I never have to, I don't want to always have to wait for other people to be there in order for me to create. So, yeah, so for me, like, as soon as I'm successful, I just want to be in that position to be able to make as much music as possible, make films, TV shows, plays, and everything, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You're gonna make it still, You're gonna make it.
Thank you, sir, man.
We're all you're gonna make it. It's your time. You see, your age group, your generation. It's your time to kind of like take the baton and carry on, And because of the way things are on the street and on the road, a lot of people stereotype and make it look like they're all the same, or there's nothing good coming out of them, when they need to know that half of the guys on the road who's doing what they're doing are very talented and very gifted, like yourself. Not saying you're doing anything on the road, but it already out there already. But yet you found another path. What took you off of the path of the streets? Not the streets itself, but what took you away from there?
So yeah, for me, to be honest with you, I think I attribute it to my parents, because I did go through a little phase where I tried to be a bad breed, a little tiny phase. Yeah. And I remember my mom going to school with me for, like, I think it was parents' evening, and I was feeling myself a bit, and she was like, you know what, if you messed up at school one more time, I'm gonna send you back to Uganda.
Oh.
And even though right now I wouldn't really see that as a punishment, but in those days I'd be like, wow, being sent back was actually a big punishment, and a lot of young kids, they did get sent back. And for me, that immediately woke me up and went, what am I doing? Like, this ain't me. Like, I have no business being that kind of person. So I just got back on the track of, doing well at school, and also identifying that actually I'm really talented with, dance or music or acting. So let me focus on that and not really focus on doing any kind of trying to go down the path of doing street stuff, because it just wouldn't be me, really.
You've done well, Ting.
Thank you, man.
You've done well. So what's the best movie or acting that you can say you've done? Which one stood out the most? Like, your career, what you're dealing with, one of them was like, that was the one that was your favorite.
Yeah.
Your favorite role, what was it?
So the role that I got nominated for an award for, it was a play called Blood Knot. And Blood Knot was written by a white South African called Athol Fugard, and it was set in the 60s. It was about two brothers. They're both black, but the other could pass for white. And it was during 60s apartheid. And they live in this really small shack where, they at each other's throats, and it was a really good play because it just allowed me to be able to do everything that I've always wanted to do, do a lead role, physical acting. I'm a really physical person. You know, do a South African Afrikaans accent. You know, act opposite a really, really talented actor called Nathan McMullen, and yeah, so like everything about it was just incredible. You know.
Yep. Right. Yeah. Well, when you get your Grammy, what do you call that gold thing? Your Oscar.
Oh, the Oscar.
Yeah.
I hope I get a Grammy as well.
Yeah, but is that what everybody strive for, to get an Oscar and a Grammy?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll be lying if I say that I wouldn't want to get it. Of course you do, because that's what you're presented as the kind of, you know, your goal when you're growing up. But yeah, if I don't get it, it won't be the end of the world. But definitely, like, I'll be over the moon if I ever did get a Grammy or an Oscar, you know, for music and acting.
So why don't you be the first to create your own?
Create my own award ceremony?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also, you know, it's never too late. That's also something that I think about. I mean, I don't, you know, when I'm making my music, I'm not sat there going, oh, I hope this wins a Grammy. And when I did that play, I was so surprised that I got nominated for the award. I didn't sit there doing the play thinking, oh, this is going to win me an award or get me a nomination. But why don't I start my own, you know, I would definitely think about it. I think it's something that, you know what it is? I think it's because deep down we all want some validation from someone else. And because I've validated myself, getting someone else's award validation feels good as well, you know?
I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that. Right. Let's find this brother now. See where he is. Wondering something. I don't know what happened, but this thing's been on for the whole day still, so yep, he had to take a little break. Or sometimes they do that. Right. Movies. Did you discuss about your movies? What movies you done?
Okay, so I've done a few short films and I've done a movie. I did a movie directed by a German director. It was like an improvised movie where we filmed it all on camera, on iPhones and different kind of phones. It was called Shoot Me, Kiss Me, Cut, and it's like on Amazon. I think people can find it on Amazon. But yeah, so that's really the only movie I've done so far. But a short film that I really, really liked was Columbine Template, and that one was written and directed by Chiwetel Ejiofor, who's been nominated for like Oscars and has won BAFTAs and everything. And that one I really liked it because I got to speak Swahili, which I don't really speak it in my real life, but you know, I was able to like get my dad to help me with the pronunciation, and I really, really enjoyed that one.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Seeing. So, well, you got a long way to go, but it's not going to take you long. Hopefully, you'll get there quite quickly. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And give something back to the youngers and things. Well, have you done anything for children or any movies with children or any plays? Because you write plays, innit?
Yeah, I write plays, but so far I haven't got any plays for children. But I did do a CBBC series called Dumping Ground. In Series 1, Episode 13. So a few young people, like, do watch that. So if anyone
what's it about, though?
That, I'm sure. So it's called, I don't know if you ever heard of a show called Tracy Baker.
No.
Yeah, so some young people know about this. But growing up, me and LIMZ, there was this show called Tracy Baker. And they did a spin-off called The Dumping Ground. And I ended up, you know, featuring in an episode. So yeah, I don't tend to do a lot of like kid stuff, like kid TV shows or anything.
No, I'm just asking because sometimes some people are doing all different types of stuff. You know what I mean? All right.
Yeah.
So apart from that, the album. You got the album with you?
As in like to be able to listen to right now?
No. If, Mike LIMZ can do that. But what it is, on the back of the album, LIMZ was talking about the back of the album, and he mentioned the part of all the people that is involved in the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you give them a shout or let us know who they are?
Man. Yeah, of course. I would love to give a shout out to my brother, Mozzie Mutant, He features in a song on that called "Think About Me." I would like to also give a shout out to Georgina as well, a really, really talented British black singer of Ugandan heritage. Really, really talented. She features on a song called "Hold You Down," and also the design of the album cover, Narcisse, who's this Madagascan designer. He's a rapper as well, but he designed a really beautiful cover. And also,
I'm back
a big thank you to my cousin Chamagua. He's back. Is he back?
Yeah,
I'm back now.
Yeah, she let him out, man. She let him out. Hey, she let you use the phone.
Okay, good. Welcome back.
You're lucky, innit?
I'm sorry I missed everything, but that's the Most High doing his running, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't touch on the subject, so I kind of missed out a few little bits. But yeah, definitely, man. We can keep it rolling for however long, bless, you know what I mean?
Okay, you're still there. You're still there?
Yeah, can you hear me, yeah?
He's gone again.
I'm gone. Can't you hear me? Am I clear?
No, not you.
No, you're clear, bro.
Okay, so we're all clear. I can hear him in the background.
Yeah, I can hear him in the background, but he's not coming out.
Who's that?
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you, but you're not coming out through the headphones for some reason.
Sorry for you guys. Like, you lot lost me for a little minute. I had to readjust and everything. You know, my connection went, and I don't know what happened, to be real with you.
Right, you can ask a question, LIMZ.
Yeah, pardon? Say that again, bro.
You can ask your questions.
Yeah, you're gonna ask me questions.
You can ask him question, innit?
Okay, yeah. Where was I touching on? Cause it was about. I just remember from the last that I heard was he done a poem, innit? He done one of his lyrics from his, like, he was giving us his last. You know, but the questions now, I'm thinking, cause I missed that last track. I didn't know what track you performed, what track you put out. What track was it at Kalungi?
So this was I recorded in Uganda, and I wrote for.
It's not.
Yeah, technical difficulties, man. My bad. Like, it was all interesting as well at that point as well.
Yeah, it's there.
Don't worry, I got to perform it again, and let's heard it.
Yeah, you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him, but it sounds a bit blurred slightly, I'm not gonna lie.
It's alright. Yeah, he can hear you. He done it again.
Okay, he can hear me now.
He can hear you. Yeah.
Alright, cool. Yeah, cause I missed the last bit, but you know what? That's alright, man. We can move forward with it. Like for me, if possible, would you perform one more there?
What? How much more you want? You want the whole album, bro?
If they wanna listen to the whole album, you can just search Kalungi Fresh on all the streaming sites, YouTube Music, Spotify. You can find me on SoundCloud. You can listen to it on Bandcamp, and it's available right there. I don't want to give you too much, otherwise you won't listen to it. But I was going to say as well, I can't stay for too long, so to cut the interview short, but I can't stay for much longer.
Yeah,
that's cool, it. Nah, definitely. Likewise, bro. So the show was supposed to finish by 10, but you know what? We had some technical difficulties, so the most we can do for the viewers, just let them know exactly where to find you, how they can find you, you know what I mean? And just, like, you know, give them a going away present, if I may say, you know? Like, yeah.
Yeah. So, people can find me on Instagram, King_Kalungi, and I always have to spell out Kalungi for anyone who hasn't caught it yet, but it's KAL for Lima, U, N for Nectar, GL. And you can find me on Instagram, and from there you'll be able to get my Twitter, which is Kalungi_. And if you just YouTube Kalungi Fresh, everything will be there, and you can listen to the music, and you can also watch the music video that I shot in Entebbe Beach, which is a beach in Uganda. So if you want to be on holiday, you can watch it through my music video.
That's a very famous beach as well, if I may say so. Still.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, man. Everyone, Bobby Wine, like all the main like Ugandan artists have shot videos there, and everybody's been there. So that's amazing. So definitely, like, obviously, apart from that, what you got coming next for them? Like, give them a little. Let them know what's coming next. Like, kind of what you got, what you wanna bring out for for your fans.
Yeah. So apart from the album Cut Again Day, I've also got new projects coming up. I've already started working on my new album, and I'm also working on some short films, some feature films with my brother Moses, aka Moses Peter. So
give Moses a big up as well. Now, come on. How can they even find Moses? That's your brother. You two are brothers. That's another thing we didn't touch on. But obviously, when we're in studio, it'll be different. But right now, what I mean, technical is getting mad. But yeah, because you two both are in the same industry and you work together as well.
In a couple feature films, and hopefully I'll feature in one or two of them. And working on some short films as well. So if people just go on my Instagram, I always put stuff up in my stories. I put stuff up on my feed. So just follow me, and I'll update you on everything that's coming up. And I'm also working on a play as well with the producer, and it's a play touching on the politics of African hair. Sorry, black British hair rather. It doesn't need to be African, but black hair. And how polarizing that issue can be. So so people should look up for that in the near future. And for other projects as well. Just thank you for everyone for listening and for supporting as well. And LIMZ, Brad, thank you so much. And Bless, also, thank you so much for giving us this platform. And love to all the Blessed Radio listeners as well.
Okay, give thanks for that. All right. Good thanks. LIMZ.
Have a good evening.
You too, sir. Mr. LIMZ. That's it. That's a wrap, my friend.
It's a wrap, man. Thank you for all the listeners, and tune in next week. We should have another very special guest. If you lot want to know who's coming up prior to the show, you can get me on Instagram, LIMZ Comedian, LIMZ Ali. Google LIMZ Ali. Check me out, everything, my YouTube shows, everything, LIMZ Ali. Just check that out, and then you guys will keep intact. If you're on a Snapchat, hit me up on Snapchat, you know what I mean? LIMZ Ali, same said name. So once again, I want to big up Bless. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And yeah, man, tune in, man. We've got another very special guest coming up for you guys. So man, Bless. Thank you, man. You know what I mean? And with you as well, any final words?
Just give thanks for life, live the best you can while you can. It's nice and fun at this point in time in some of your lives, but as you get older, you get wiser, and then when you start to get wiser, you can look back at your mistakes. You won't notice them at this time, but do the best you can. You know what I mean?
That's it. And remember what we say to them: keep clean, wash your hands, keep clean. Social distancing. We didn't touch on it, but it will come up anyway. It's been all over the place. I'm sure you guys didn't mind us talking about it, but for real, keep clean, social distancing, travel only when you can, and look out for each other and your family and yourselves, because we need all the lives that we can have right now. We don't need no more people getting lost. So look out for everybody. Make phone calls when you can. So yeah, man, that's all I can say. Bless, you know what I mean? Thank you again for the opportunity, bro.
Alright, no problem, bro. Take
100%. Care. And the people can check it out. They can catch it on YouTube as well, innit?
Yeah, it was dropped there. I remember the computer went off for some reason, so the most of it, you missed a little bit of it though.
Okay, but what they can still check out the previous, check out this, what they can get of this one, you know what I mean? Come on, we're trying our best, man. So you can't even blame yourself, Bless. You get me? So let's just be thankful, like you said, be thankful. And for the people, man, keep it blessed, and bless lovings, and all day, every day, man.
Alright, bro. Take care. Bless.
You